Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started on our next multiplayer matchup. It seems like everybody wants to play at the settlement right now, so we're doing settlement, strategic command, 2,000 points. We're going to be playing against the Blood Angels. We're going to be using the Forces of Chaos. It's a 2,000 point, unlimited turns to 100 point target. So I am going to use our summoners, because I find that they just are quite a nice matchup, especially on a map like this. Now, it may bite us in the ass if he's able to get a bunch of jump infantry and attack our summoners, but hopefully that won't be the case. I'll get our guys deployed and we'll see what we can do. Alright, so I've deployed our forces here. We have two Bloodthirsters. My hope is that I can fly and try to capture these points as fast as possible before they get here. We'll run, so we have two of those. We have two Demon Princes, three Blood Masters, all those can summon, and then we have four Skull Cannons, so one on each side here, and hopefully we can get some good shots and maybe even get some charges in and see what we can do. Alright, so I'm moving these guys forward, but I think I was just trying to try some new things out here. I thought, oh, maybe if I use them like a blitzkrieg force to come over here and take this stuff out, I can rapidly take the point and then hopefully pull back. But what I didn't really appreciate, which I'm a little embarrassed to say given how many times I've done this map now, is that victory point is 1 point farther than the rest of them. So not only is it a little closer to them, but now my guy is totally in range for a bunch of jump infantry and things, as you're going to see. And the number one way to lose these games with the chaos, especially when you're using a summoner force, is to get your guys killed before they can summon all their forces. So as you can see here, I can jump here and I can also jump to that other one. And so then if everybody decided to charge in here and attack, then I could move in with two Bloodthirsters unless they got attacked, and everything else would be in range to be able to do it. So that would have been a much smarter area, and then those buildings there would also give it some cover from additional fire from, say, Hellblasters if the enemy unit had that or not. And then for whatever reason I decided to move here, so now if I would have moved one up, I would have been in the cover of the buildings. Whereas if I'm here, anybody that's in this alley can now shoot into this Bloodthirster, and they don't have much armor. So pretty much almost anything that attacks them is going to do damage. So just as you're going to see, there's going to be some bad positioning happening here, and that's 500 of my points. So that's like a fourth of my force. So it's like, great, I have 10 command points, I'm a little bit ahead. But let's see what happens. He moves the land speeder up, but that uses up all of its movement. Doesn't really matter, but now he's at least body blocked me from being able to take this point. And as you can tell, you can hear the jump infantry coming. So it's like, alright, they're going to jump in, attack, boom, decent damage. He buffed up, he's getting ready to jump again, I think. Nope. He's buffing up his predators with his tech priest, so he got additional damage and armor here. So it's like the predator just chews everything up, and then with all those buffs, it's like, oh man. And it's like he got his other one, so it's like originally he was planning on sending this the other way, but he's like, oh shit, I might as well just attack here since you came so far forward and you're isolated. It's like, why wouldn't you attack here? So it's like he did all that, and then he's throwing the rest of his jump infantry in here. So it's like not only do they get to attack, but if they need a spot to land, they can actually go a little bit farther than they would normally. So now they come behind them. And then you can hear another one come in here. But even if he couldn't have reached, he could have jumped a little bit ahead of time, and then he could have thrown some crack grenades down. So no matter what, with how I had done this, that guy was going to die. And even if it happened on the other end, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Because everybody would be together and I'd be able to do a bunch of attacks. But now I'm in this situation, like I said, where I've lost that unit. It didn't get to summon anything, and I can't really penalize him a lot for the movements that he's done here by extending his forces. And like I said, unfortunately he's got the Hellblasters with the heavy incinerators, and they are like professional snipers. They are the strongest ranged anti-vehicle, anti-armored unit in the game. They're just so good. They're good at sniping out heroes. They're good at sniping out vehicles. They're obviously excellent at sniping out Bloodthirsters here. So it's just like, oh man, now I'm effectively almost 500 points down. 2 turns into the battle. Now it probably worked out in my favor that he got overwhelmed, because I think he would have been able to just jump in here and get the kill. But he did not, because I think he has another unit over here that you kind of hear about later. I suppose he could have jumped in there and thrown the crack grenade, but I think he's like at this point in time like, oh, I've done so well, that guy's dead, I don't even need to really worry about positioning anymore. So I'm sitting here like, oh man, I still got another turn before I can summon. What am I going to do here? It's like I can't get anywhere, so I might as well just get revenge on these assault squads here, because you're locked down. So it's like, alright, let's just hit them. And they're dead, which is great. But it's like, alright, I got to pull you back now to try to keep you alive. It's like, what am I going to be doing here? It's like, well, let's pull you back and let's try to move you guys up, and then hopefully I can attack the Hellblasters. Now, unfortunately, I moved you up a little too close because I couldn't remember what their range was. So I'm like, oh, I think I'm too close. I bet if I came back here, I would be a lot better. And it's like attack. It's like, yeah, 75%. And in terms of cost for effect, the Chaos Forces ironically have the best artillery in the game, because these guys not only have great armor piercing, they've got great splash, they've got excellent range, and they've got the ability to take reduced damage, and if they get caught in melee, you can use that charge attack. So it's just like all these things together make them very useful for most situations. The one bad thing they have is they can't be used to lock units down. Even though they have bloodletters with their swords there, they don't actually have a zone of control. And surprisingly, with these guys, they have amazing range, so I'm like, let's just try to get the kill. So it's like, alright, I took them out. And then I fire into these guys here, and ironically miss all 3 attacks. And now we're on this situation over here, so I'm like kicking myself in the ass, like, what am I gonna do? It's like, well, if I stay behind this thing here, hopefully I can get some shots into the Space Marines and get some kills. If I'm like, do I attack these guys from range? I'll be able to hit them, but I can't guarantee I'll get some attacks. So I'm like, well, let's just pull you back here, try to get some cover, try to get some attacks, take out as much of these Assault Marines as you can. And it's like, they're down. Now, I didn't recall that these guys one-shotted Assault Marines. That was a little bit surprising to me. Not sure if that's because they're getting buffed by the other Khorne units around them, and I don't usually have my Bloodmasters by him or not, but I was quite surprised that there were these one-shot kills here. So I'm like, well, let's just run you up here, because you'll get the splash damage. So between the 2 attacks and your bonus attack, I'll for sure be able to kill these Assault Marines, unless he misses his attack, but that really shouldn't happen at 80% chance. So it's like, alright, you're killing all these guys. I want to completely kill these guys so he doesn't use his crack grenade. So then I do that, take him out. And I was trying to decide, well, what do I do from here? Because I want to be able to keep you safe. And my thought was, oh, I can keep you back here. That'll get you a little bit into some cover. So hopefully the Predators will be forced to move forward, get more, and then I can maybe use these Bloodmasters or the forces that they get summoned to do more attacks. So I'm like, well, should I run in here, charge in, get the kill? And I thought, no, that's a bad idea, because I won't be able to use them to summon forces, because, you know, it's 1 turn and then they'll be able to summon. So I'm like, I'll hide them kind of towards this corner here. My Demon Prince should be able to lock guys down. Then I'll be able to summon 3 units if he's able to survive. And all these things should be good. I'm like, well, let's might as well try to attack the Assault Squad over here, because if I can land the attack, that would just be game changing. Because at this point in time, I thought everything visible other than his heroes were what he had for forces. Cause I was thinking that I was playing a 1,500 point match and not a 2,000 point match, because I had multiple matches going at that point in time. So I'm like, oh man. So yeah, that was a tough turn, but you know, if I can lock these guys down in melee, I should do okay. It's like I'm not worried at all about that new unit, because it's like, what is he going to do? He's got a flamer, which would be the equivalent of another dreadnought. He's got a very pitiful ranged attack here, and he does have a flamer, so he'll be able to snipe down any units I summon, assuming that they're Bloodletters or the Hellhounds. But you know, it's like if I can get guys in there, then I should be able to do quite a bit of damage. As you can see, even at minus 25% damage, they still do quite a bit. So it's like he's sitting there smacking these guys. I'm like, oh, okay, you'll be able to survive probably. But in retrospect, I just heard the buff go down, which is usually a sanguinary priest, or not a sanguinary priest, a sanguinary guard. So I'm like, oh, okay. If I get another predator attack, I'll be able to tank that. But what I was not expecting was the sanguinary guards to, or the sanguinary guards to be jumping in on me here. Because this is kind of what I was hoping was going to happen. It's like, great, now I can charge in with everybody else, and then I'll definitely be able to get those kills. But then these guys jump in, and it's just like totally different game. It's like, shit, now they're dead. And now I've got everybody here, and I'm totally exposed. But he's got another surprise coming for me yet as well, because I've killed so many of his units. Yeah, he still has those Assault Marines here, so those are the ones I could have gotten the kill on my Bloodthirster had he been there. And whipped the crack grenade down. But that's not the surprise that I'm talking about. This is the surprise I'm talking about. So now he's killed another one of my Bloodmasters. So it's like now, instead of summoning 3 units, I am now down to 1 unit. And he's critically injured. So it's like, great, I now have a Bloodthirster that's almost dead. I have a Skull Cannon that's almost dead. I am now pinned down here by these assault squads, and I can't move far enough to get them into attack, so I'm like, well, let's just charge into them, kill them, but I can't let them survive, or they'll be throwing crack grenades on me. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going to just use this Crushing Gorefest charge attack to kill as much of them as I can. And it's like, alright, well, that unit's taken out here. And it's like, alright, well, ideally I would have taken out the Hellblasters, but this is like they're in cover. I couldn't guarantee enough stuff here. And it's like, alright, I gotta get more units here, because I am losing like nobody's business. So I'm like, alright, Bloodletter's not terrible. Unfortunately, he'll be able to for sure kill them, at least one of them, with his flame cannon here. So I'm like, what am I going to do here? And it's like, well, I got to keep you back now because I can't have the Hellblaster over there getting kills on you. So it's like, alright, let's summon somebody else. And it's like, okay, more Bloodletters, not terrible. Because if I can get them into melee, they can do a bunch of damage. And it's like, what else do I got? And it's like, Skull Cannon. It's like, that's not really what I want over here. Because they're not very, despite having all their armor piercing, they're not that good against vehicles. So here, I decided to charge, but I forgot that triggers their pistol attack. So it's like, I probably could have done the reduced damage there had I used their ability, but I wasn't really thinking. And then here I'm like, well, I might as well just summon these units here. And I'm like, well, at least I can lock these guys down, so hopefully I can keep this guy alive, so he doesn't totally get killed here. And I run these guys down, and again, I didn't use the reduced damage, so now I'm triggering more Overwatch. but we did almost kill him. So it's like I got these guys here, and I'm like, oh shit, I should have done that to reduce the damage. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I've locked these guys down, so at least I'll get some zone of attack. So at this point in time, it's like, well, he's gonna be outmaneuvering me, but maybe if I can just stay alive and get some more kills, then maybe I can start kiting around, and if I can keep summoning, then maybe, just maybe, I can keep guys. But then I'm looking, I'm like, shit, he's got more Assault Marines back there. He's got the Hellblasters, he's got his hero, I can't reach the hero. Like, what am I going to do here? Because I see those Assault Marines, so I'm like, do I pull back to stop him from jumping me? But I think he's still going to be able to reach me. It's like, do I pull you back? It's like, well, that one's almost full health, so maybe we'll just pull the weaker one back, and if I can bait an attack on there, great. Now, the weird thing about the new unit with the Space Marines is even though he's got the Flamer, he doesn't overwatch with the Flamer, so it's like, alright, well, now I'm here, so that should force him to flame you, and then maybe I can get the move around the back there to get other attacks. So that's kind of my thought process on moving these guys around here. But it's like, alright, well, now we're tied, but I'm definitely losing, but maybe I can get some good attacks here and lock things down. And I'm like, shit, it's a tornado land speeder, not a regular land speeder. So that whole thought about using him there to lock things down, that's not really a viable option anymore. And worse yet, he now can move his land speeder around the back there to start getting capturing points. And these guys are now in optimal range to be shot. So he's just like, yeah, I'm going to kill these guys for sure. So let's just attack and move through. I don't even need to like wait or do anything. Can't tell you what got the kill there. I don't know why it just doesn't sync up sometimes. And he decides, well, since I've got this everything on lockdown here, I might as well just move over with these Hellblasters. I can get the kill here. And I can try to consolidate these guys. He runs another strafing run over here. I was actually a little surprised that he didn't kill my Bloodthirster, because I would assume he would be able to see him, and he probably would have killed him had he used that attack. But now he's like, maybe I'll concede this location here. He's like, maybe I'm not. But he used the grenade attack. It didn't really do very much for damage. But now we're in this situation where he's got more forces than me. He can heal. This guy, which is 250 points, is now down to 70 health. It's like, I'm not doing great here. I'm like, well, since he decided to move back so far to get that kill, or that attack I should say, it's like, well, can I move you guys over? Maybe get some attacks on these Hellblasters. Like, what can I do? It's like, well, I got a 65% chance to hit. And yep, just landed it, so that's great. And I'm like, well, maybe if I run you down here, I can try to backdoor a victory point capture, or strategic point I should say. I attack here, and it's like, great, landed another attack. So those guys are almost down. And it's like, I got the points, but I hate these abilities for the command points for chaos, they just feel so weak. I mean, the minus accuracy is great. That's not weak. I shouldn't say that. That one's very good. And then the level 3 where it does psychic damage against everybody, that one's pretty good too because it's over a pretty big range, but it's just frustrating because I don't feel that the minus momentum, minus overwatch at level 2, I can't say I've ever used that. And I don't really foresee myself ever using that. Maybe against Necrons if they're like out healing and I needed to do that, but I think I'd rather just affect their accuracy. So that second level ability, I just not worth it to me. So here I'm trying to decide, well, can I kill him with the priest, or do I need to actually flank him with these bloodletters? I'm like, well, I can't guarantee it, and maybe I can just kill him with the bloodletters, and then I would be able to use the Demon Prince's attacks otherwise, but didn't work out that way. So I'm like, all right, we'll just kill it, and then I guess that means we're gonna have to explode, and these guys will get hit. But the explosion didn't happen, so then I'm like, well, okay, I wasn't really expecting that. So we'll move you up, and I guess we'll use our last attack to kill this guy here, which we do. And then I'm trying to decide, like, well, what am I going to do here? So it's like, I want to move you guys. I need to lock these points down. It's like, well, you're here. I can't really pull you back. He'll run you down, so I might as well kill this Sanguinary Guard. But now I'm running into this issue where because you get command points by completing objectives and not necessarily for killing units, but by having units die, which is totally backwards to me. So it's like, not only am I killing him here, but I'm getting his strategic points back up. And if he gets up to level 2, then he's just going to spawn another assault squad on me, so I'm kind of like, oh, I'm so frustrated with this current situation here. And it's like, well, I can't get away, so I might as well do some damage. If I can at least kill the torpedo, then maybe that'll stop him from being able to keep flaming me every 2 turns and killing my summoned units if I can survive, but things are not looking good. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this Bloodmaster here? It's like, I need to move you around, but I don't want you to get sniped. And I'm trying to look at these points like, well, where am I going to keep you? To try to keep you alive. Because I could use his flying ability, since we have unlimited terms here to keep jumping around and trying to capture points, since at this point in time we're pretty close. And ultimately I decide, well, we'll just kind of body block here, I guess, with the Bloodmaster. But I'm just like, man, I am really exposed. And it's like, well, is that assault? I don't want that assault marine to come over here and try to jump here. So I think if I move here, you should be able to use the building as cover. Yeah, he's just using his bonus attacks here on me. And then the hypothesis that the building was going to act as cover did work, but now I'm like, shit, now I'm down to 30 health. And he's trying to move over on me. But now I'm in the situation like, what am I going to do here? It's like, do I keep do I try to run you down to get over here? Like, what am I gonna do? And it's like, I'm clearly gonna lose this. This predator is gonna keep coming after me unless I do something. So I'm like, all right, this guy is already pretty low health, so let's use you to try to run around. I'm here. I'm like, what are the chances I'm going to be able to take out the torpedo? It's effectively very low. What I should have done in retrospect is use the charge attack on him, because at least then I would have had more damage and would have been in a better position to try to take that spot. But I didn't think about it. But here I'm like, well, maybe if I run all the way up here, I can use this guy's bonus attack and my Bloodthirster to come around and get some big attacks into this guy, and maybe I can take one of the predators down, and then maybe I can use my Demon Prince to try to lock the other one down, stop him from moving, and then maybe I can, you know, outmaneuver him, was kind of what my thought process was here. Now, I think it might have been able to work, but by moving the Demon Prince first, I have now added movement onto my Bloodthirster here. So now I can't quite get to the rear. Now I think there's a chance that if it blew up, it may have just killed the Bloodthirster anyways, had I been in the rear attack. So maybe it wouldn't have worked out the best anyways, but that's kind of, I was like, well, maybe I can get this kill here. So I'm like, boy, 300 some damage. I should be able to maybe get that. Because now I'm just swinging for the fences, trying to just do something to be able to survive. It's like I'm down to 15 health with this guy. And it's like, oh man, 142. It's like I'm not going to get him, am I? And it's like, oh, let's try it again one more time. And it's like, bigger hit, but now you're down to 17 health. So it's like, shit. So not only is he going to be able to heal, he's going to be able to buff. Now I've totally lost both of my summoner units, because next turn I would have been able to summon. So I'm like, I don't think they're going to be able to survive. So now I'm like, okay, now I've committed to this Hail Mary move here. What am I going to do? And it's like, well, maybe I can hold this spot down if I keep him here. And then if I do that, maybe if I move the Bloodmaster over here, I can try to lower the accuracy a little bit. And maybe that will allow maybe these guys to survive. There's a lot of maybes here. But at this point in time, I'm just like, I need to do some heroics. Otherwise, I'm for sure not going to make it. I'm like, oh man, that accuracy is not quite far enough. So I'm like, all right, let's move up one more. And try it again. It's like, all right, I can at least do it to all these guys here. So it's like, all right, we did that. In retrospect, maybe I should have used another action point to get him 1 point closer. And then I would have been able to also include the Assault Marines, but I decided, I was like, oh man, this is not working out in my favor, so I got a little cowardly and pulled them back. But it's like, oh, at this point in time, it's a 3-2, and this guy's now dead. So it's like, oh, he's down. These guys are jumping. And now they have a rear attack that he's attacking me with. So what I should have done is kind of turned him a little bit, but I wanted to ensure that if he tried to run away that you get an attack, but all it did is allow him to get a rear attack. And then I don't think it would have mattered, because with the two predators here, he's able to get the kill anyways. He's like, yeah, we'll just move up here, and now he's got the heal here. It's like, shit, he's now back up to 75 health. And now it's like, well, I guess if I use my charge attack, I think I can take out this predator here, even with his heal. It's going to be close. And I do it, and I get the damage. I just wish they would fix that. As you saw, it's like, oh, you'll do 11 to 14 damage on the attack. It's like, well, no, that's not true. And so you just don't know how much to predict that he's actually going to be able to do damage, which can be very frustrating. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm committed here. Let's just move you down. Try to capture some points. I should be able to get there. I'm pretty close. Can't really see anything, so let's just go up here, because I think that's going to be enough movement if I use my point to capture that. Then it'll be a 3 to 3. I'll move you. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with you? Do I try to bring you down to consolidate? Do I attack here so you can get in there? And ultimately I decided, oh, I'll just pull you back, because the assault marines are going to be due for jumps again shortly. So maybe by keeping you back here, I can again body block and try to get some protection. And then I face that direction here. And I'm like, oh, that's probably not great, but maybe if I pull you back and hide here, I can then summon some units and try to barricade this to stop them from outmaneuvering me. Was kind of what my thought processes was here. So I came here. I'm like, all right, let's summon something. Give me something good. And it summoned probably the worst unit it could have. It summoned another Bloodmaster. So it has 180 HP. So it's like, I can't. The Assault Marine by itself could probably just about kill him. Certainly the Predator is going to be able to kill you. And now I'm like, well, where do I put you guys? Because there's not a whole lot that I can do. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll move you down one, and maybe that will allow you to get a zone of control to maybe slow guys down. But it's like, oh, I was feeling so defeated at this point in time. Like, there were so many mistakes, overextension, and definitely getting penalized, and I just can't seem to get things rallying for me here. But it's like, all right, he's got the Sanguinary Priest, he's got the Tech Marine here, he's got these guys, got you here. And now things we're tied, so it's like we're getting closer. But then I realized, oh shit, the target is 100, whereas I was thinking it was originally a target of 85. Or 80, I mean, because that's what a lot of players will end up doing, is the target is 80. So I didn't, at this point in time, I'm like, oh, not only am I defeated, but I was fighting tooth and nail, thinking I was a lot closer to a possible victory than what is realistically going on here. Because if I was like, well, maybe, just maybe, with how close we are, I will be able to get to that 80-point target if I can hold 3 places down. But clearly, since the target is 100, no matter what, the loss is going to occur. Maybe if I had positioned him facing the other direction, that he would have survived, but most likely between all those attacks, he was going to die no matter what happened. Yeah, I threw his crack grenade down. He got a crit on there, unfortunately. Now we've got this situation. So see, as you can see, it's like, oh, I can move you over here to capture this point here. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do here? It's like I'm going to likely end up conceding here, but what can I do to try to maybe get some more kills? Is there anything really? It's like, well, if this guy survives, I'll be able to summon somebody next turn. I've got this one skull cannon, but it's like with all these turns and things that are necessary there, I can't get in a charge attack. So it's like there's not a whole lot that I can actually do here. He's going to be able to heal. So I'm just like, what can I possibly do at this point in time? And I'm like, well, I can get both of these guys up here, so I could probably kill this Sanguinary Priest, and that'll at least stop him from summoning more Assault Marines. Because at this point in time, it's like, well, unless I get some critical hits or something, this is not going to be going well for me, because he should just be able to snipe me down with these units that he still has. So I'm like, what the hell? Let's just try to take out his commander unit. Try to avenge our fallen brothers here that have all died. And now I'm like, shit, maybe if I would have gone the other way, I could have at least captured that point back again, but again, it wouldn't, there's nothing I can really do to have this come back here. So I'm just like, well, out of frustration, I guess I will attack some of these other guys. And it's like, I can't do the crushing gore fest because you have to be in direct, it's a charge attack, so you got to be in direct line with it. And if I move all the way up here, I don't have any movement left, so I don't think I can actually charge then. So I'm like, screw it, just go ahead, shoot the torpedo. Oh, I guess I'm still kind of going back and forth, deciding what can I possibly do here. But I do eventually just get frustrated and shoot at the torpedo. And it's the first one that's like missing here. So I'm like, ugh, kind of an ignominious end here to this match. So I'm like, alright, screw it. Come over, get some attacks. See, because originally if it was 80 point target, I was like, oh, if he gets this, I can come over here, I can kill him, and then maybe with my other bloodletter I can run in here, kill him, and snipe the win at the very last moment here. But at this point in time, it's like, oh man, that's not even really a viable option. So I'm like, well, maybe he'll miss his counterattacks. And he doesn't. So I'm like, well, let's just run up with this other guy. He does miss that attack. And I'm like, well, let's just finish him off, I guess. And he's down. So, end turn, and now things are switched into his favor. So, figured I'd give him his last turn here to get to mop the floor with me. So, kills the Bloodmaster appropriately. He jumps his Assault Marine over towards this other point here. Gets his attack. Tech Marine moves over here to lock that victory point objective down. But then he's like, oh, there's nothing he can do to really get over here, so I might as well just heal this. And he starts to move down to attack the Skull Cannon that's down there. So it's like he can not only get the kill, but he should be able to capture it back. So I'm just kind of looking at the situation here. It's like clearly hopeless at this point in time. There's nothing I can really do. I'm like, can I at least charge him out of animosity? But it's like, nope, that's not going to work either because I don't have enough movement to do that. And it's like, well, what can I do to maybe get a shot off on him? There's not a whole lot here. So I'm like, well, whatever. Let's charge attack these guys. Yeah, I just wish with some of these attacks, not only would it show you that the kind of damage it would really do, but then it tells you that it only has a splash of 4 and things like that. So, because I don't think it actually tells you that. So it's real frustrating when you're trying to use that to clear out units from like the Tyranids if you're playing against them and just trying to clear out all their Termagants. You'll just kind of charge through there thinking you're going to kill all these units, but it's like they have so many different models, or Gretchen is another one, that it doesn't actually work out in your favor because it doesn't spread that attack to everybody else. So I'm like, alright, we'll pull you back and then get some shots off. I'm like, oh crap, I can't even see him. So I'm like, well, that just kind of summarizes and embodies this whole match. So it's like, all right, I attack there, everything's done. Good game, well played. Didn't see those sanguinary guards, so it's like, shoot. So at this point, I just concede. That way I'm not wasting his time and bringing this match to an end here. So definitely well played by our opponent. Did some excellent maneuver, excellent jump infantry, excellent use of the sanguinary guards, and you got to see that the Hellblasters are definitely excellent against a lot of the high value summoner army like what I have here. Again, that Invictor Warsuit, I am not a fan. It costs more than a Dreadnought, and I'm not sure it does more than what a Dreadnought can do. I mean, it does have increased movement. I wanted to try to rush the capture points with the Forces of Chaos, but I don't think pushing on that left side is the way to do it. I think if you are going to try to do a rushed push with your jump infantry, by jump infantry I mean bloodthirsters, I think you should do it on the left side of the screen here. That way all your forces are consolidated together, and then if he does use jump infantry to capture the point on the right, you could maybe use your skull cannons to be able to launch some attacks on there. And then if he ends up pushing you with a lot of other infantry, by the time he gets there and starts advancing on you, you can summon more units. But the number one way to lose with Chaos is getting your summoner units killed before they can summon, because their forces, well, I wouldn't say they're expensive, they're easy to kill, and the way you win is by getting them into melee and overwhelming them and doing a lot of damage. Given the RNG with your summoning units, it's like you'll either have great units, you'll have units that you don't really want, so you're not quite sure what you're going to get, and then you kind of just use what you have to overwhelm them and do what you can. But by getting them killed right away, I just didn't have enough units to be able to fight back, because I still think those assault marines are way too good for the price. I mean, I think they're effectively the same price as the incessors, I think is what they're called, the space marines that have the bolt guns, and there's definitely not equivalent. I mean, the grenades versus they both have grenades, but the crack grenades good against vehicles. They can use it no matter what. The assault squad can do damage to everything because they have actual armor piercing, whereas the bolt guns don't necessarily, even when they use their buffed attacks. So I would like to see the assault squad be buffed, or cost a little bit more, even if it's just like 10-15 points. But I think people would disagree with that. But because of how cheap the assault squads are, especially when you're adding in sanguinary guards, some healers, sanguinary priest, this is why, in addition to those predators, because the predators are great, why everybody, well, almost everybody on the tournaments will select Space Marines, is because they're good at everything. They've got tools to solve any issue, and for the points, they can overwhelm most forces, especially with their jump infantry. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. And if you like when I'm kind of giving this blow-by-blow descriptions, I'm going to do this for probably the next couple weeks during my videos to see if you guys like kind of a more thoughtful explanation of my moves after the match, kind of explaining what happened here versus just giving a little bit of commentary while I'm actually playing the match, because at that point in time I don't quite know what's going to happen with the units and things like that, so sometimes it can be a little bit ambiguous. And then going back retrospectively, I can also kind of go into more detail about what the opponent is doing and kind of the buffs and everything else on going there. So let me know what you need for what you guys prefer. It definitely takes a lot more time to go back and do it this second way, because after I process the video, I then have to go through, watch it again real time, and kind of give real time commentary to explain things. But I'm more than happy to do it if this is kind of a more fruitful experience for you guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos, and have a great day.